Yo, what is good YouTube? It is your boy Make America Lit, back with another NBA 2K23 video, and in today's video I'm going to be ranking all of the finishing badges in NBA 2K23. Now I know you probably seen other people ranking badges and stuff like that on YouTube and stuff like that, but I kind of wanted to wait. I know I'm waiting until season 3 to rank these badges, but I kind of wanted to wait just because I wanted, more time with these badges to really give a proper ranking and stuff like that. Because I noticed that, throughout the life cycle of 2K, certain badges are going to be OP, certain badges are going to be really weak. Some badges might get buffed, some badges might get nerfed, you know what I'm saying? But it's hard to really tell how good a badge is going to be when you've only used the badge for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or even the first month of the game, as nerfs and buffs are going to happen. So that's why I kind of waited until season 3 to see where these badges going to fall. So now that we're in December, we've had like 2 months and a half, if you want to count September as a half month. We kind of had almost 3 months with these badges, you know what I'm saying, because we had all of October, all of November, and now we're in December. So we pretty much know how these badges are going to function, and for the most part, which badges are OP, which badges are good, and which badges aren't good. With that being said, yeah, man, let's jump into the rankings. So the very first badge that we're going to be ranking is well, actually, you know what? I should get the really OP badges out the way, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't think people are here for, the really OP badges that we know are really good, or, badges that we know are, just staple badges. So I'm going to take Limitless Takeoff. We're going to throw Limitless Takeoff in the S tier because we already know how good Limitless Takeoff is as a, badge and whatnot like that, as a finishing badge. That's like a must-have badge, you know what I'm saying? Slithery, we know how good Slithery is. I'm not even going to, waste my time with Slithery either. Slithery is definitely another one of those must-have badges that's going to help you with, avoiding contact, unlocking contact dunk animations and stuff like that when you're, driving into the paint and stuff like that. And then there is another badge, Acrobat. Acrobat is another one of those badges that's just extremely OP. They still haven't nerfed Acrobat yet, at the time of me making this video. But it's possible that a nerf might come later on in season 3 or something like that. It's extremely possible that might actually happen. But as of now, Acrobat still hasn't been touched, and it's kind of ridiculous, the basket you're able to make with layups when you just double tap square and just do a chain shot layup or whatever like that. It goes in like 98% of the time. Now, I have a build with Hall of Fame Acrobat, Hall of Fame contact finisher, fearless finisher, excuse me. So, I can pretty much, say for a fact that this is OP, period. Full, testimony. I've used this and I've abused it myself. Now, I wasn't using it before, but once I found out how ridiculously OP Acrobat was for the chain shot layups, I started using it. I was always telling people that it was a really good badge just because of all of the boosts that you get for different kinds of layups, Euro layups, spin layups, hop step layups, because fancy footwork is no longer in the game, you know what I'm saying? So because that's no longer in the game, I've always been an avid supporter of people running Acrobat because of the boost that you get for those different kinds of layups, making it a lot easier for you to pull off those layups and stuff like that, because I like to use different methods and stuff like that for layups and stuff. The next badge that we'll be talking about is Aerial Wizard. And I honestly, I have Aerial Wizard in the B ranking. And the main reason why I have Aerial Wizard in the B ranking is because, it does increase your shot meter for like alley-oops and stuff like that. When you're doing the dunk meter and stuff like that, it does make your dunk meter way bigger, depending on the level that you have it at. Now, obviously, this has been a badge that people usually just take on bronze, and I'm even an avid user of it on just bronze. Certain builds where I don't have a lot of finishing badges, or I don't have a lot of finishing badge levels. Like most of my badges are on bronze and silver. I'll take Aerial Wizard on a higher level just so that I can, get a better meter and stuff like that. But the higher level you run this badge, the higher, like the bigger your meter is going to be, the easier it is going to be for you to complete alley-oop dunks and layups and stuff like that. So it's going to be a lot more forgiving the higher level you run this. I know a lot of people wasn't really sure on the badge, but it does do that. It does make the meter a little bit better. Kind of like how Posterizer makes the, dunk meter easier to time when you pull up the meter and stuff like that with Posterizer on higher levels. Same thing with Aerial Wizard, but for alley-oop dunk meters. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I have this in the B tier category, because it is very useful. Especially when it comes to completing alley-oops and stuff like that, will make your life much easier. The next badge I have, Dream Shake. I have this in C category, just because this is a very situational kind of badge. You're not going to be able to really get use out of this badge in a 5v5 setting, and I mostly play Rec and Pro-Am. I don't really play threes or park or anything like that. I'll stumble into it here and there, playing threes or twos or whatever if I have a friend on or whatever. But for the most part, I'm playing 5v5 Rec, either solo or with some friends, or we're playing Pro-Am with some friends. And the thing is, you're not going to get the spacing needed to really put this badge to work effectively. And I also noticed that you don't really get that many stun animations when doing these moves in the post and stuff like that or whatever. You know what I'm saying? The only real use for Dream Shake, in my opinion, is pairing Dream Shake, with MIDI Magician, those moving shot, fading shots and stuff like that, post shots or whatever. Dream Shake paired with MIDI Magician, that boost that you get, because you do get a boost for shooting out of the post. So that would be the only real reason that I use Dream Shake for. I wouldn't really use Dream Shake for anything else other than just the shot percentage that you get, the boost for shooting out of the post, because you don't really stun people when doing, post moves and stuff like that. The shimmies, the fakes, the the spins and stuff like that. You don't really get much of stun animations. I've noticed that. So you get the stun animations or computer players, the AIs and stuff for sure, but for human players, I don't really see the stun animations like that. So that's why I have this badge in C tier. Moving on, Back Down Punisher. Back Down Punisher is a B tier badge to me. Just because it seems to be really, really weak this year. Back Down Punisher in like 22 and 21, specifically 21, was just ridiculous. It was just unfair the way you was able to back people down in the post. This year, if you have strength in your build, my center only has like a 70 strength right now. With a 70 strength and gold brick wall, dudes are not backing me down in the post, bro. And my strength goes up to an 85 on that build. I haven't even put it up to an 85 just because I haven't even needed to put that strength up to an 85. And I'm only like a 91 or a 92, 93, somewhere around there overall rating for my center build. You know what I'm saying? So I haven't really even, touched my ratings that much, just because where I'm at right now is extremely good, and I'm still making other builds and stuff like that, so I don't need to waste VC on that center build and stuff like that. I can put I've got my attributes where I need it to really perform well. But even with a 70 strength and gold brick wall, I'm not being backed down by inside centers, not even outside centers. I'm talking about inside centers. Outside centers and stretch bigs and stuff like that have no chance of backing me down in the paint. But inside centers, 7'1", 7'2", 7'3" bigs, they struggle against me just because I have gold brick wall and a 70 strength. When I put that strength up to an 85, it's going to really be a problem for inside bigs playing against me. And that's the reason why I have Back Down Punisher at a B tier. Now, this can be a good badge if you do have high strength. If you do have high strength and you're going against somebody who doesn't have high strength, Back Down Punisher is just going to just push them out of bounds completely. It's going to be OP, and what's going to happen is you're going to get doubled, and you're going to be able to pass the ball out to somebody for a wide open shot. So don't get me wrong, it does have its uses, it does. But in my experience of people using it against me, it just hasn't been that good. And then I'll check like their badges after the game and stuff like that, and it's like they're running silver or gold Back Down Punisher. Maybe not Hall of Fame, but they're running like the gold or silver version of the badge, and it's like, damn, you can't do nothing against me. Like, I mean, if you have, gold or silver, that means you have a higher strength than me because you probably have like a high 70 or a high mid to high 80 strength because you need like an 85 strength for gold. So unless they got it with post control, which I doubt because I don't really see people putting post control up and not taking strength too. But my point is that it can be useful depending on your matchup, which is why I have it in the B tier, but I don't have it in A tier just because it's not as strong as it used to be. As far as finishing badges go, fast twitch I have an A tier because again, this is one of those badges that really help, especially for bigs. It helps speeds up all of your animations down low. It's going to make you speed up your standing layups. It's going to speed up your dunks and stuff like that, and you're going to get those shots and dunks off before they have a chance of blocking you. This badge is even more useful when you're going against inside bigs because inside bigs tend to be taller. They tend to have higher defense, and they tend to have higher block ratings, meaning like anchor, higher levels of anchor, higher levels of post lockdown and stuff like that. And that's what's going to stop you from getting your shots off quicker. That's what's going to stop you, from increase your chances of getting blocked and stuff like that. And having fast twitch is going to increase your chances of not getting blocked and getting your shot off before they have a chance to swat you. So I have this in A tier. I think it's a very useful badge, but there are, slightly more badges that are a little bit more useful, in my opinion. For example, like the next badge that we're going to talk about, which is Rise Up. Rise Up is a really good badge as well, too. I'm struggling with whether I want to put this in S tier or A tier. But I really do feel like it's an S tier badge, but at the same time, I do feel like you can go with A tier just because you can have a center build that's built around like running pick and rolls and stuff like that without having this badge on your your build or whatever, because you can get away with just having fast twitch and throwing up quick layups this year. Last year you needed Rise Up because if you was going up with layups, whether it was driving layups, standing layups, your shit was getting swatted, chased down, put on the backboard, all of that. But this year, layups actually have a chance. Standing layups, driving layups, all have a chance of going in. Dudes aren't chasing down everything like they were last year, so you don't really need to constantly dunk as much, but having this is a really good, safety measure to avoid getting dunked getting blocked, because then you are getting dunks more frequently and stuff like that down low. The next badge that we're going to be talking about, and this is going to be our first D category badge, and that's going to be Pro Touch, man. Pro Touch, the boost that you get, is just pretty much just non-existent. Like when you run this on bronze, the crease from bronze to Hall of Fame is just pretty much non-existent as well too. So you're better off just not running this badge at all. Me personally, I did like running this badge on bronze at the start of the year because layups with meter were actually viable, and you don't want to run meter on layups if you don't run at least bronze Pro Touch. Like, it would just defeat the purpose of even having a meter on if you're not even going to run with bronze Pro Touch. But I've seen everybody pretty much go right back to running no timing on layups or whatever like that, like they did in 22. Now 22 was impossible to time layups. I was missing layups wide open on a fast break leaking out at the very start of the year. I had like a 70 layup on my play shot. Somebody threw the ball down. I leaked out, laid the ball up. Nobody was on the same side of the court as me on 2K22, and I missed the layup by myself. I immediately turned layup timing off, never looked back in 22. This year, I was making and greening some of the most ridiculous layups with like a 60 driving layup on my build at the start of the year. And I was just all I was running was bronze Pro Touch. I didn't run anything else. Bronze Pro Touch, you get that at like a 40 or a 50 layup. I was running bronze Pro Touch and was just greening everything, just ridiculously greening everything with the meter. You know what I'm saying? But after we done the testing, 2K Labs did their little testing and whatnot for the badge. Everybody's seen that, there's really no boost to really be had besides like putting it on bronze and no badge. A lot of people have stopped using it. A lot of people went back to no time and layups. And to be honest, I don't really notice a difference. It's kind of 50-50. It's like, but the one thing I will say is you're better off taking layup timing off and just taking this badge off, because then it just saves you a badge point. I don't really notice a difference between me not timing layups and then me running layup timing with Bronze Pro Touch. The only difference I can say is that it'll save me 1 badge point, and it'll also save you 1 badge point. So in my opinion, you're better off just taking layup timing off in general, and then just taking that badge point away, putting that badge point into something else on this list. That's what I personally would do. You know, there's plenty of badges that you could run on just bronze alone. That you could benefit from, you know, like Fast Twitch, Aerial Wizard, things of that nature. So I would recommend doing that instead of even running Pro Touch, in my opinion. Another badge that I thought was extremely good, and this badge is actually really underrated because I don't really see a lot of people talking about how good this badge is, but that's going to be Giant Slayer. Now, the reason why I have Giant Slayer in the A category is because this badge is going to benefit everybody. Now, I know a lot of people think that it's only going to benefit shorter players and and stuff like that. But if you read the second part of the description, I'm going to read the description for Giant Slayer really briefly so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Giant Slayer says it boosts the shot percentages for a layup attempt when mismatched against a taller defender. And, right, the second part, and reduces the possibility of getting blocked, meaning that it's not going to just boost your percentages against taller defenders, but it's also going to reduce your possibility of getting blocked. And that, it doesn't say getting blocked by taller defenders or anything like that. It just says reduces the possibility of getting blocked, which means that if you don't want to get blocked while going up for layups, you know, whether it be standing layups or, you know, driving layups, you should be running Giant Slayer. And that's what I talk about on this channel when I say people really need to read the badge descriptions, because there are a lot of things that people don't know about the badges, or they don't pay attention to about the badges, that they're missing out on really good badges because they just think, oh, it's just for laying the ball up on taller people. But they're not reading the second part of the badge, which is saying it's going to stop you from, you know, getting blocked or reduce the chances of you getting blocked. So that's why I have Giant Slayer in the A tier. I always try to run this badge on at least bronze if I do plan on taking layups or dunks or anything like that in the paint, just so I don't get blocked, or just so I have a less chance of getting blocked. Moving on, our next badge, A tier badge, Drop Stepper. Drop Stepper is still one of the most deadliest inside badges for big men or whatever like that. Especially if you have high strength and stuff like that, high level of Drop Stepper, man. This badge pairs really well actually with Back Down Punisher. You know, if you're going to get somebody who doesn't have a high strength or high brick wall, you know, you back them down once or twice to get them kind of underneath the rim, and then when you use Drop Stepper with that, you know, you pretty much just negate any chance of them like stopping you. You're going to get a dunk just about every single time, you know what I'm saying? So keep that in mind when running Drop Stepper. You might want to take, you know, Back Down Punisher, you know, at a little bit of a mid to high level or whatever like that, or just mid to low depending on your preference. But this badge does work really well with Back Down Punisher if you do have the strength advantage and you can actually back them down into the paint and stuff like that. It's going to make your life a lot easier when going up with those drop step animations and stuff like that. And the drop step animations are still really strong, especially when you pair it with you know, post scoring takeover too. Is just relentless, man, relentless. So that's why I have Drop Stepper in the A tier badge. It's still a really good badge for inside players. Moving on, my next badge, Bully. And I have Bully in the A tier, and I think that honestly people really thought Bully was going to be like Slithery. It was going to be as good as Slithery, or it was going to be as good as like Limitless Range, one of those badges that just completely break the game. And everybody had this misconception. And if you watch my video on the channel, the one video I did make of 2K23 before the game dropped, you know, we were talking about the badge list leak and how there was going to be all these new badges like Mismatch Expert and Space Creator, and Bully was one of those badges that was on the list. And every single person on YouTube was talking about how ridiculously this badge was going to break the game and stuff like that. I don't think this badge is bad. I think people overrated what this badge was going to be. I think people had an idea in their head that this was going to be some super OP badge, and I think they thought that the frequency at which they were going to see this badge popping and stuff like that were going to be a lot higher. And I think that's the real reason why people, kind of say this badge sucks and it's not good and stuff like that. If you know how to trigger the badge and you know how to run different, if you look at this badge as a utility badge to go along with other badges like Giant Slayer and Fearless Finisher and Acrobat and stuff like that, Slithery, Posterizer. If you look at it as just like a utility badge that kind of you pair with other badges just to make you more versatile at scoring in the paint, then you would understand how good this badge really is. But if you're looking to this badge to be your main bread and butter and you're just going to bully people out the way every single time you go into the paint and stuff like that, it's just not going to happen. Even at a Hall of Fame level, it's just not going to happen. Now, if you know how to pair this badge, like rightfully so, with other badges to just make it really strong, like I said, with Acrobat and Fearless and stuff like that, Pro Touch as well included if you want to run some Bronze Pro Touch. I'm not one to judge, it's all on you. Then you're going to look at bullying a little bit differently. So that's why I have it in the A tier. This badge is still really good. Even with me running this badge on silver, I've ran it on bronze, I've ran it on silver, and I even have it on Hall of Fame on my 3-point shooter build, which I'm going to be bringing out later on in December to show you guys some gameplay with that build, how good it is. I also made a catfish build about the 3-point shooter build. If you want to check it out, I'll link it down below. But yes, Hall of Fame bully goes crazy, if you know how to pair it with other badges. Same thing with silver and bronze. I haven't used bully on gold, so I couldn't tell you how exactly good is gold bully, but I've had a lot of experience with it on bronze, silver, and Hall of Fame. Moving on, another really good badge that I honestly think is an S tier badge, in my opinion, if you like driving into the paint, and that is Fearless Finisher. I definitely have Fearless Finisher in the Hall of Fame category, or the S tier category, in my opinion. It's basically going to reduce, your contest percentage. It's going to reduce your contest percentage and stuff like that, and it's going to make you strengthen your ability to, make contact layups. And the real reason why I'm such a fan of Fearless Finisher is just like last year, 2K22, and even in 2K21 with, like, I think it was called Contact Finisher. The real reason why I use these badges is for when I'm going into the paint and I think I'm getting a dunk and they pull you out of the dunk. Somebody behind you on your back somehow magically pulls you out of a dunk, stops you from dunking the ball for whatever reason. These random ghost contests that are completely behind you in the animation that you're doing will pull you out of a dunk. Fearless Finisher is going to turn that into a contact layup, which means you're going to automatically have a higher percent chance at making that layup. Same thing with Acrobat, you know what I'm saying? It's going to pull you into like a, chain shot layup instead of a dunk, which means it's going to increase your chances of making that layup. When you don't have those badges, you'll notice that a lot of times when somebody pull you out of a dunk, you're missing those dunks most of the time. But when you have Fearless Finisher and Acrobat combined, you're making those dunks and or those layups, I should say, at a higher percentage, so that's why Fearless Finisher to me is a really good badge. And then when you pair Fearless Finisher with a badge like Bully, which is just going to add to the contact and stuff like that, it just increases again your chances at making those tough layups and those contact layups. So that's why I love Fearless Finisher. And it's also going to pop when you're down low as a big and you're taking standing layups with a lot of contact, heavy contests. That's going to help you with making those standing layups as well too. So, it's not just driving layups, it's just contact layups in general. So that pairs with Bully, it pairs with Acrobat. It pairs with all of these things, and that's what makes it so strong, so strong of a badge. So that's why I have Fearless Finisher in the S tier. Moving on, Posterizer. Posterizer is also another S tier badge for me, just because it's going to help you with that dunk meter. And I realized, it took me some weeks to realize it, but current gen last year didn't have the dunk meter, but this year they do have the dunk meter because Next Gen 22 had dunk meter, and 2K23 current gen is basically 2K22 current gen. I mean, next gen, if you will. It's literally the same thing as 2K22 next gen, but just 23, So we have the dunk meter on 23 current gen, and it took me some weeks to realize that you can pretty much get a dunk every single time when you trigger the dunk meter. And not only that, but you will pretty much dunk that shit every single time and complete the dunk when running a high level of posterizer, specifically Hall of Fame. But I mean, gold will work too if you know how to time the meter right. But I've noticed that dudes with like 95 plus dunks with like gold posterizer are just able to just dunk over and over and over, and just green dunks and green dunks and green dunks. And it's because they have posterizer, because it's going to increase your green window for your dunk meter. So this is going to be very vital if you are a finisher down low, you like to drive, catch dunks and stuff like that. This is going to improve your chances. Moving on, our next badge that we're going to be talking about is Post Spin Technician. And Post Spin Technician, I honestly have in a B tier, just because I just don't think that Post Spin Technician is as good as it once was. This was a badge that people used to cheese the hell out of the game with, because all you needed was bronze Post Spin Technician, and you were just spinning around people with this easy spin animation that would give you like a free basket or a free layup. And if you didn't get a free basket or layup, you got a foul, which was free throws or whatever. Nowadays, this Post Spin Technician badge just doesn't go crazy like how it used to. It can still be useful, you know, if you are a post scorer and you have post scoring takeover and stuff like that. But I've noticed that, you know, a lot of post players now are smart enough to have at least bronze post lockdown, which is going to negate that post spin technician badge. You know, even back then, people would run post spin as a guard, and they would sit like at the mid range and post you up at the mid range, and not like fully post up like contact with you, but they would just stand next to you while holding the L2 button, and then they would just post spin you and just below pass you for a dunk or a layup. You don't really see that anymore because, like I said, a lot of people are running post lockdown. They're getting better at being, you know, good defenders and stuff like that. So Post Spin Technician is kind of taking a hit on the hierarchy of like good badges. You know, Post Spin Technician back in the day, 2-3 years ago, would have been an A tier badge. It would have been up here. But nowadays, it's probably B tier, maybe even C tier. I have it in B tier because I do feel like, just like with Back Down Punisher, it can be useful in certain situations with certain build types. You know what I'm saying? And then finally, our last badge is, our last badge. I said badge. Our last badge that we're going to be talking about is the Masher badge. And I honestly have the Masher badge in B tier just because of what I've been told, and that is that the badge just only really works on taller builds, which means, you know, most people are running with 6'11", 7-foot centers, which means if you're not running on at least a 7'1", 7'2" big or taller, you're not going to get the full benefits of Masher. But I've still seen, now that's what I've heard people say. Now, me personally, I've had a 7-foot big. My two-way stretch 5 is 7 feet tall, and I've seen Masher pop for me. You know what I'm saying? I've also seen Masher pop on my 6'8" small forward, my 6'8" point forward that has like you know, I think silver Masher or gold Masher. I'm not really sure which version of Masher I have, but it's either silver or gold, and I've definitely seen it pop on bronze or whatever for me a lot. And I'm only 6'8", and I'm pretty sure the person I was guarding against was like 6'9", because everybody has 6'9" builds at the small forward and power forward position. But I've also been told by people that it only works on builds where you're taller than the defender. So, you know, I don't know. When I look at the description, it tells me basically that Masher is, you know, Grace Under Pressure, the Grace Under Pressure badge, and then the I forgot what the badge was called, but it was like a badge in 22. I can't remember the name of the badge. The badge slipped my mind, but it was basically a badge for scoring. Oh, Mouse in the House. Masher's basically Grace Under Pressure mixed with Mouse in the House. So under my idea, I assume that means that, you know, it works whether it's, you know, the Mouse in the House instance of the badge will work or give you a better boost if you're on a taller defender, you're a shorter defender, but the Grace Under Pressure aspect of the badge will still pop and give you a boost because it improves your ability to finish well around the rim. Because if you read the description, it says improves the player's ability to finish well around the rim, and then it's a comma, and then it says especially over smaller defenders. But again, like I said, I've heard people saying that you know, it's only for taller builds and stuff like that. So that's why I have this drop down to the B category. And you can honestly even drop this down to the C category if you really want. But me personally, I have it in the B category because, again, like I said, with Post Spin Technician and Back Down Punisher, it just seems like a really, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Situational kind of badge, where it's like if you don't have the build that you can build around this badge for this badge to be useful, it's kind of pointless. You know what I'm saying? So there you have it. That is my ranking of the finishing badges in NBA 2K23. It's been your boy Make America Lit. Please be sure to drop a like on the video. The ratings definitely help the channel to grow. And please be sure to subscribe for more NBA 2K23 content, badge breakdown videos, and of course badge ranking videos just like this. I'm out, guys. Peace.